Greetings, Vault Hunters all across the 6 galaxies. Welcome to the Bordercast. We are live at our usual time, Tuesdays at 4 p.m. Eastern, 1 p.m. Pacific. I'm Mitsu.
And I'm TessGames, coming to you every week to break down all things Borderlands.
Psycho Krieg and the Fantastic Fustercluck is finally out, and we've both had a chance to play it, and we hope that you all out there have as well. The journey through Krieg's mind has been an arduous, meat-filled affair with plenty of heart and loot to boot. Warning, today's show will have spoilers.
The DLC wasn't the only big development this week, excuse me. Gearbox held a panel during PAX Online full of shocking and much anticipated reveals. So excited! Insights from the developers, and of course, a little bit of magic from the guy in charge of Gearbox, Randy Pitchford himself. That was such a fun reveal. We seriously cannot wait to talk about it more. I'm saying the word talk 50 times because I'm so excited.
Indeed. It was a very enlightening conference, and we'll talk about that a little bit later in the show. But first, as always, we want to take a minute to thank our new listeners on iTunes, Spotify, Stitcher, and those watching right now live on Twitch, YouTube, Facebook, Steam, or later on the VOD on YouTube. And if you are enjoying the program, we would love for you to give us a big ol' like, follow, or favorite. Otherwise, Glad Tess will be very irate.
Do it for science and love.
It's here. It's finally here. Psycho Krieg and the Fantastic Fustercluck. Oh my goodness. We finally got to the last of this season pass of DLC. Whether or not there's going to be a second one, we don't know. We don't really know what the plans are for anything involving a year 2 in Borderlands as of yet. But I am of the mind that we are going to see some really cool and innovative special stuff in this COVID working environment. And I'm very looking forward to that. But for now, we're just going to focus on what is out there in the world, such as Psycho Krieg.
Oh my god, I love this DLC so much. I know that probably everybody is at this point sick of hearing me gush about it, but I'm not stopping because it's so awesome. It's so awesome and it makes me so happy. Oh my gosh. So it's out now. You guys should be playing it, hopefully. If you're not playing it, if you decided not to, play further DLCs in protest of Maya's death or some such, this is the one that you should change your mind for, because even though she's gone, she's not really gone.
No one's ever really gone.
Yeah. Well, she's not only not really gone, her actual living memory is now not just in Ava because of her siren powers, but also inside Krieg's mind, which we get to literally jump into in this DLC. And now anytime we want to, whenever we feel like it, we can go there and we can talk to her. And, she's alive with Krieg. He's not alone. He's got her. He's got a bunch of friends hanging out in there, and we can stop by anytime. And it's wonderful. Absolutely wonderful.
Yes. Borderlands, the Legendary Collection, still out on the Switch. You should still probably get it if you haven't already. Borderlands 2's DLC 5, Commander Lilith and the Fight for Sanctuary, is free on the Epic Store if you have Borderlands 2 and or the Handsome Collection until October 2nd. And honestly, there's no reason for you not to get it. Go get it right now. Play it. It will give you a lot more lore. It will explain a ton of information, getting you from the end of Borderlands 2 to Borderlands 3. It doesn't bridge that gap, but it gives you context to how Borderlands 3's story begins. And there are effervescent, I always do that, effervescent weapons too, or rainbow weapons, as one might call them.
Fun times, lots of fun times. The art, absolutely all of the art in this DLC completely has blown me away. It's just like the rainbow splatter everywhere, the spray paint, the incredible designs in the level where Maya exists for all time from now on. The incredible sort of little Easter eggs to certain other games and certain other movies and things like that in the third area. The beginning area just blows you away from the beginning, from the first moment you step foot there, and just all of it is so good. And I can't wait to play more. I played a ton that first day it launched. I was originally going to do a short stream, but I was rocking the cosplay, and once I started, I literally couldn't stop until I finished it. I had to keep going. It was amazing. So that was pretty cool. And I don't know. How about you, Mitsu? What have you been up to?
Oh boy. All right. So I said to myself and to everybody that launch day was going to be what launch day is. Everybody go out there, have fun, do your things. For me, I wanted to have that experience on the Borderlands channel. I wanted to save it so that I could play it there. So I did. It was not easy. It was not easy to have to go the entire, and I managed to do it without spoilers too. Nobody tweeted at me and spoiled me. Now they're going to all the time. So I'm going to regret saying this later. I didn't get any like malicious tweets being like, oh, this is how the game ends. This is the last boss. Nothing happened like that. I managed to get from front to back all the way through. And it was a wild ride. I love how it starts. They throw the bullet enemies at you right away. Giant Krieg, Psycho Krieg is right there the whole time. It's the screaming sanctuary is really nice. And then you go into the actual area that's, I guess, representative of the innermost workings of Krieg's mind. And I guess we should just say it right now. And we said it at the top of the show, but I'm going to reiterate one more time. Spoilers from here on out. Very much spoilers.
Yes.
There's a big old statue sitting right in the middle of this new, I guess, hub, you could say. And the statue, I mean, obviously you could tell what they were trying to do. You're trying to build the big Krieg out of these different parts of fragmented areas of his memories. One of the things I'm going to say is, did it feel a little short? Slightly. And to me, that is okay. There was only so much you could do with the inner workings of somebody's mind. And we are metagaming here, living in COVID America. It's so hard for everybody to come together and do this remote. So I'm going to give it a pass. Is that right? Is that wrong? Is that fair? Is it isn't? I don't care. I'm telling you what I feel about it. You might disagree or you might agree with me. But it took me about 4 hours on level 60 to 65, Mayhem 10, to beat that. 4 hours is still a good length for a DLC. And that includes doing side quests.
That included doing side quests. See, you're way faster than me. It took me, I streamed for about 8 hours and 45 minutes. There was a 15-minute intro, and it took me about an hour to draw the tattoo because I drew, maybe a little bit less. I drew the tattoo live on stream because fun, and also because I didn't want to do it and then put on the coat because I was scared that I would, anyway, it was fun to do on stream. Yeah. That tattoo stuff, by the way, is amazing and I love it, and it like doesn't come off that easily on anything. But after a couple of days, if you've kept it on, it comes off on everything. So don't try to wear it for more than like 2 days max. I'm gonna get the real tattoo. I'm just putting that up there now, or out there now. I've sort of been talking about it on stream for a little bit. I've had the idea since like before Borderlands 3 launched. But when Borderlands 3 launched and we saw Maya in her new beautiful form and everything happened, I was kind of like, oh, I really want the tattoo now. And so since like the reveal event, I think I've been kind of thinking about it, and it's a big tattoo, and I've never had a real tattoo before, so I kind of wanted it to marinate in my mind for a while, and it's been there marinating for about a year. It's pretty gross now, the idea, Anyway. And so I said before this DLC came out that if they brought Maya back in some kind of meaningful way, that would allow us to spend a lot of time with her, have like an adventure with her, and then like she would kind of come back for us in some kind of meaningful way. Maybe not fully back alive or anything, but in some way. Like I couldn't come up with a way. The writers for Borderlands were way better than me at that, obviously. And I said that I would get the tattoo for sure, and they 1000% fulfilled that. So tattoo is happening. I just have to find an artist and figure all of it out, but it's happening. But yeah, it took me about, I would say then, a little over 7 hours, maybe 7.5 hours to do the whole DLC. Granted, it's me. And I am the type to go, oh my God, this flower on the grass in the first starting area is so gorgeous, and just like stare at it for a while. And that happened all over the place. And then just like there were so many little things that were so beautiful. I couldn't help but focus on them. And the devs that were hanging out at my stream pointed out a couple of things that I probably would have noticed in like, consequent playthroughs, but maybe would have missed this first playthrough. And there's just so many little things, and they didn't tell me everything. So I know that there's stuff that I haven't seen yet. I went back in a couple of times now with different characters and playing with friends like Triple, who's hanging out in the chat right now. And I plan to do so again and again and again and again. And I just want to exist in this DLC forever. I mean, I know I kind of do as Maya, but I want to while playing with you guys. So actually, after today's Bordercast, I will be starting an Amara playthrough because I haven't done that yet. It's going to be fun and I'm excited. But yeah, I feel like it's such a wonderful DLC. And I guess it can be short. It can take you about 4 hours, but it also can be a lot longer depending on if you're more like me and you take your time. I also went from 60 to 65 on a really boss character that really didn't require, like, it was a challenge, but it wasn't like a crazy challenge. I think I tried it on another character another day and I had a much harder time. I tried it on a flak and I was really struggling, but I feel like I didn't really know how to use that flak correctly, so that might have been just my fault. But yeah, so good.
Yeah. At no point did I ever feel like I couldn't do anything. I was playing on Zane because, of course, I was. And I had a light show. I think I had my Krakatoa. I had a few other things. No problems at all. I go into the first area. I like how they told this story in the 3 acts and then kind of like the epilogue that they did, where the first act is you go to the meatscape essentially. And I'm glad that we didn't stay there and that wasn't the entire focus of this DLC. I'm not a particular fan of blood and sinew and all that stuff, like in a large scale like that. When somebody explodes into that, I love that. That's hilarious because I grew up with like Half-Life and Counter-Strike and Team Fortress. When you hit somebody, for example, in Half-Life with something enough times with a crowbar, it would just explode in like guts and body parts and spine and everywhere. So I'm used to that. That I'm okay with. But walking around the meatscape and seeing like these giant meat blobs and eyes that are following you like this and like that, that's a lot. I can't. So, I mean, it wasn't enough to like deter me from it. It doesn't make me think any less of the game. It's just not. It's uneasy, unsettling is a good word. I feel
ya. I'm a vegetarian, so it was. I definitely threw me for a loop the first time I played it. I was like, "Where am I?" But I just thought it was so inventive, and I kind of like. I feel like the first time I saw it, it was kind of like, "You," and then as I played through it, I was kind of like, this is really creative, and all of the crazy spiky bones and stuff I just thought looked so cool. The eyes following you, I actually thought was very cool. Creepy AF, but in a good, like authentically creepy. Like it was good. Do you also, there's a hallway full of cells in the 3rd area. And I don't remember which part of the 3rd area because I haven't quite gotten used to all the names of all the locations yet. Please forgive me, I'll get there. But there are eyes inside the cells and it's dark, so you like don't really notice it unless you look closely. But like there was a moment where I was just walking past and I literally just kind of like looked to the side through my peripheral vision almost and noticed and was like, what? What the heck is that? It was amazing. That crazy hallway that twists, like the twisty hallway. You know what I'm talking about also?
That was wild. So to me, that just felt like they were just showing off at that point. Because what is it? The hallway twists, and all I can think of is, man, they really wanted to show off that Unreal 4 engine, didn't they?
Yeah.
Because that's what that is. The last time I think I've ever played something that intricate where the entire room twisted like that, I want to say it was like Max Payne 2, and obviously it didn't look nearly that good back then. But, I mean, it looked good for that time. I think I'm ripping on Max Payne. I love Max Payne. But just the principle of it being walking through that room and watching it kind of like swirl around. My only issue with it was you weren't actually standing on anything. If you look down at your feet weren't actually touching the floor. They were just above it. I felt like there should have been something there for us to stand on. Control's another good one. Another Remedy game, actually. Yeah. Control's another good one.
Now I want to.
Yeah. You look down and you'll be like, oh, wait, I'm floating through this room, But I don't think they could actually do it where the entire room would twist and have you not move along with it if you weren't standing above the ground. Because the ground twists with you too as you walk through it.
Yeah.
So it's fine.
Yeah, I definitely I had to take a second because it was like kind of giving me vertigo a little bit, that room, but it was so cool. It was just so cool. God, there were so many, and like the Matrix entrance, that was so good. That was so good. It was so good. I literally walked up to it and I was like, this looks familiar. It was so good. And just so many things. And like the whole Maya space was just beautiful and so thoughtful. The roses kind of guiding your way, and those, like when you would plant the book on the pedestal, like sort of set up for it, and then a pathway would sort of spawn in front of you, and it would have Maya's tattoos on the little like stones of the path. That was so cool. It was so cool. It was like she's always there guiding us, you know, and then you can literally go and hang out with her and talk to her anytime you want in the Psychoscape now, which is just, I don't know, it just makes me feel so happy. I'm gonna be spending way too much time in this DLC for the foreseeable future. It's amazing.
Can you actually? I didn't know that. Where is she? Is she in the main hub area, or is she in her second section?
So she's in the main hub area on the way to her section, right? So like, you know how, yeah. So like, you know how once you've finished with the Meatscape, you, which I don't know if it's actually called that, but that's what it's called in my head.
Well, that's what it's called in my head too.
Yeah. So once you finish the Meatscape, like on the way to the Meatscape, you've got like Lilith and then good and bad Mordecai and Brick hanging out, and you can actually talk to them. You can also eavesdrop on their conversation if you're standing there and the little pop-up comes up and there's like a bunch of different dialogue options. Do that if you haven't done it yet. It's cool. They say some funny things. And so the same thing for Maya's area, and the same thing for the third area. There's a little like entryway where the portal is to that location, right? To that part of the Psychoscape. So on the way to the Maya part of the Psychoscape, there's a tree and she's standing by it, and like she's like you walk down these little steps and then she's right over on the right, and you can right. Yeah. I'm really bad with directions. Left, right. I get confused. Anyway, she's right there and she's just like hanging out, and you know, you walk up to her and she's like, "Hey, what's up?" and just like talks to you, and you know, she has a whole bunch of stuff to say, and it's nice. It's just nice. Like you can talk to her anytime, and she's like aware that she's in his mind. It's not like she's just a memory or a phantom. She sent him something imbued with her memories and her essence, right? So she's alive inside Krieg's mind with Krieg, and he's not alone, and he's got his two halves and Maya and his friends there, and it's just really nice, and it made the whole thing just made my heart so happy, honestly. And I cried a bunch of times, and I blame the devs, and I thank the devs for making it so like genuinely awesome, and I love it.
They brought up that book. They brought up that book again, and I'm a little upset because we did not get really too much of substance on what exactly the book entails. I need to know more about what happened with that book and why. Why did that book survive her disintegration? Why is it still there? Why is it in Ava's possession now? I know she hinted at it a little bit. There's a message towards the end. I think it's an echo message where she says she is one of the very few privileged sirens who ever gets to know that she is going to pass her powers on to this person when she passes on. And there wasn't really anything indicating, hey, Krieg, like take care of Ava or anything like that, which I kind of appreciated a little bit because I'm still on the fence about Ava right now. More towards the other side, actually, not really on the fence. But so my point is,
you have to talk to her. Someone in chat, Renfried, just mentioned it. She also says more about the book and the fact that it's basically imbued with her memories, and that's how Ava has them. In one of the things she says if you talk to her after. So like go and find her when you get a chance in the Psychoscape, and she'll explain it further. I still would like to know more. I don't disagree with you, because even with what she says, in addition to like the main story with her, I would like to like I want an Ava DLC, you know, or I want to see Ava before hopefully someday Borderlands 4 happens. Not that that's been announced or anything, but like hopefully. I want to see an Ava DLC happen at some point, or an Ava event or something, so that we can get to see Ava mature a little bit, because like Maya says things about Ava, and you okay, so one thing, if you haven't done the Ava the Ava side quest in the main story where you have to like go and pick up her stuff, do it, because
Her diary logs.
yeah, because you get to know her a lot better, and it's really important to know what she's been through, because like, yes, she's a teenager and she's annoying, but she's not spoiled. A lot of people think that she's a spoiled brat, but she's actually really, really not. She's a brat, but she's, you know, she's a teenager and she's been through like absolute hell. So she literally lived in poop in a poop sewer. So, you know, she's not spoiled. She's just young, and I would really, really like to see, and like, she is annoying, I will grant you that. Absolutely. But I would like to not be annoyed with her anymore. I would like to get to know the more mature her. So I really hope that like her taking on the leadership role and like piloting Sanctuary around, and maybe going through Maya's book and kind of like thinking on the memories that are imbued in it and things like that, help her mature, and we get to see that at some point, because
nice.
I feel like she just, people give her so much flack and she at least partially does deserve it, but partially she doesn't deserve it. And I mean, if she got Maya's powers, I want to see her in a good light. So,
Of course.
you know.
No, you're absolutely right. Yeah. I mean, as you're going through it, we definitely spend a lot of time getting to know more about Maya and Krieg's relationship. They really had a very good, loving friendship, which was nice to see. There was never really any, I mean, you could take things a certain way and say maybe there was something there, but I doubt it. It seemed to be a very loving, genuine, platonic friendship between two people, one who couldn't really express himself for very obvious reasons, and a woman who could actually understand him. That was a powerful moment when sane Krieg realized that for some reason, somehow, she heard him. She heard what he said, listened to it, understood it, and then responded to it.
Mm-hmm.
Imagine what a powerful moment that could be for somebody out there who struggles to communicate with other people, to finally find someone who hears you and listens to you. It's very powerful.
Yeah,
that I think that really got me. I think I might have like cried a little bit at that one. Not full on tears, but like there was stuff here. There was water forming. Might have been rain today inside my room. Aurora Borealis in my kitchen. Yeah, so that was really nice. Again, spoilers, Locomobius. Locomobius was such a fun boss. To watch that thing go all over the place. The entire segment of just like running around with trains back and forth everywhere, especially as somebody in Borderlands 2 who is deathly afraid now of trains, because when they hit you, you die. You do not die in this game, though.
That train was amazing.
Yeah.
Oh my God. It was amazing. Also, one of my favorite parts of the boss fight with the train was when Maya phase locks the entire thing. That was so awesome and so like on point, like exactly what she would do. And it just, I don't know, it like gave me life. I loved it. I was like, oh my God, she phase locked it. Perfect. Ah, it was so good. It was just really, really, really good. I loved it a lot.
I think by about that time in my playthrough, I had just obtained, and this, people are going to get mad at me because I'm going to tell them this. You ready? A Hellwalker Mayhem 10 100% Sentinel Cryo Anoint dropped just a few kills after I hit 65. So I don't have to farm for a Hellwalker ever again on Zane. Ever. And my clone does so much work now. I can just drop clone and do whatever I want. I can pull out my light show and just be like, oh, this looks so nice. Look at this. This is actually kind of hurting a little bit. Clone just absolutely goes to town. It's so much fun. And there are so many people who are probably out there right now being like, you got Charlie what now? Yeah, it happened. It's nice to be excited about drops, because now I know that these drops aren't going to be replaced for a long period of time. Very long period of time.
There's a lot to farm for, and I don't even know what all the good guns are yet. I've been like kind of trying to pay attention to loot, but I'm still so enamored of the story and the scenery and everything that I'm kind of not even paying that much attention to the loot yet. I'm gonna get there. I think I'm probably gonna be there when we film the next Ultimate Vault Hunter episode, which is there's an episode airing, by the way, this Thursday. It's one of my favorite episodes. It's very different with the Priesticles, who's hanging out in chat right now. If you want to follow his link, just type !priest and you will get a link to his channel. Liz, our wonderful host, interviews him about doing One Life runs on Twitch and what that whole process is like and what the building of the character process for a One Life is like. And it's just a really interesting episode, and I hope you guys like it. I had fun editing it. It was very cool.
Yeah. Two things that really got me. Towards the end, there is a cell close to the last boss, and in that cell is a cardboard box with a button. I failed this, because apparently if you hit the button before you hop in the cardboard box, nothing happens, and it just doesn't work. But if you look on the wall, you see tons of writing. You see mathematical equations. There's a rainbow on the floor. Rainbows are awesome, by the way. And you hop into this box, apparently, and it's supposed to be a reference to the one and only person that we tried to get more information out of from Max Babin.
Yeah.
Max Sky.
Okay, did you get the button to work? Because I can't.
I did not.
Okay, so I couldn't figure this out. And somebody in chat told me that I had to go back after I beat the final boss, and I can't figure out where it was with the same character. Like, I need to just go back through that whole level, I think. So I might actually do that at the start of my gameplay portion of today's stream after the Bordercast, because I really, really, really want to know what happens when you hit the button, when you can hit the button, but I couldn't hit the button when I found it. So, but it was really cool that it was there. I don't know how he ended up inside Krieg's mind, but it's right before Benedict. Okay, cool. Thank you.
So if it just by the theory of it, then Krieg probably was in one of those holding cells waiting to be taken down to Dr. Benedict to be tortured. This leads me to believe that Max Sky is also a psycho. He might be a little bit more sane than your average psycho, but he is a psycho as well. That's how Krieg knows about that cell. That's what I'm led to believe by seeing that.
Interesting theory.
Yeah.
Very interesting theory.
Yeah, I mean that was my interpretation of it. Whether or not that's true, I don't know. The Dr. Benedict fight, a lot of fun. It was good to give that guy a beat down just because of how truly evil this man actually was. Jesus Christ. Somebody mentioned earlier that we didn't see Dr. Samuels, and that actually did make me a little sad. It would have been nice to see her show up, because Dr. Samuels, I believe, is integral to saving Krieg at some point in that story. I don't remember where or how or why, but yes. And then going forward, this is my one big point of contention with the DLC. Besides the fact that, the length, whatever. This is my actual one criticism. At the end, the last boss is a giant Viking psycho, which makes sense. You are going to Valhalla. Perfectly reasonable. The only thing I would have liked to see is Norse mythology played up a lot more throughout the entire course of the DLC. I don't know how you would play that up, but it would have been nice to have more sprinkles of it there to set that tone. And we already have a lot going on, so I can understand, all right, yes, we're covering the madness and the loneliness of Krieg. We're covering his dealing with Maya's loss. We're covering a lot of different topics here. So I can understand it would get muddled if we didn't do more of that in there. But at the end of the day, the last boss is suddenly jarringly a Viking psycho. And I'm like, all right, well, it didn't actually come out of nowhere when you think about it, because it's Valhalla. So you should have known the whole time. But it's just the one Viking reference that wound up being in there. So that's the only thing that really bothered me about it. Everything else, the color, the overall story, the quests, side quest, did you do the chest one? I'm sorry, the chess one.
Yes. I was like, chest, what? Yes. So at this point, I think I've done every side quest at least once. I love the chess one. It was kind of like D&D, but not D&D. You know what I mean? Like, obviously they were role playing. And okay, so very amusing. Max, who's in chat right now, was probably laughing while I was talking during my stream because I was like, I wish there was an actual D&D set from Borderlands that was, like from Bunkers and Badasses, right? And then, I was like, I wish that was a thing. I also wish there was a chess set that was just like the chess set, like with Maya and Krieg and all the characters, like with their chess pieces on their heads and stuff like that. And Max literally in the chat was like, the universe will provide. And I was like, I wonder what that means. 2 days later, I'm literally jumping up and down on the Bordercast while we're watching the announcement, and Bunkers and Badasses is real. So that means all that other stuff I asked for is going to happen too, right?
Speak the words
So
and the
cool.
universe shall provide. That is the theme of this entire program, as always.
I love that side quest. I'm sorry, very much. Also, Baby Pat. Heart. Do you know which one I'm talking about? The baby gun?
Oh, yes. I actually, that's one of the last side quests that I managed to get done today. Oh my goodness. That was so much fun.
So good. Baby gun. And you literally get to like sit on it to birth it.
I said that was going to happen too. I'm like, I'm going to have to sit on this egg, aren't I? Lo and behold, it's like incubate the egg, crash on the egg. All right, we're doing this, I guess.
Oh my god, I'm so excited for the D&D to be a thing. Of course, I pre-ordered. Mitsu pre-ordered. I know Liz has pre-ordered. We have a plan to do a show on the Borderlands channel. It's happening. I'm putting it out there. We don't know exactly when this will all come to fruition, but we definitely are gonna make it happen. It'll be a thing. There will be a Borderlands D&D show, or a Borderlands Bunkers and Badasses show right here on this channel some point in the hopefully near future.
Yeah. I want to do more of this DLC. That's really where I'm at. I really, really like that they brought back the General Knox way of doing the last boss. You kill the last boss, and then you go into this room. And when you go into this room, you have to run around and open up all of these chests as fast as you possibly can. And then there is a secret room, too, that you have to unlock through ways that I won't share right now. If chat wants to talk about it, if you know it, great. And you want to talk about it with the community, great. But I'm not going to spoil that yet. We'll talk about that another day. But you can open up a very secret room where there's even more chests, and those apparently don't go away. So what I was told.
Did you?
I don't know.
So when you fought the final boss in Valhalla, there are a bunch of those like diamond shapes that are yellow, and then you shoot them and they become green. Did you unlock all of them? You know what I'm talking about?
Which ones? Are you talking about the crew challenge?
No. So that's another thing, which also, by the way, okay, so I have major questions about this crew challenge because you don't really, so first let's talk about the symbols and then we'll talk about the crew challenge.
Yes. Okay.
So the symbols, right? So when you get into Valhalla, I think if you turn around, and I don't know where all of them are. I definitely didn't find all of them, but they do look like Iridian writing. As the Borderlord says in chat right now, and they're like diamond shaped, and they're yellow, and they have like internal art. And if you shoot them, they turn green, and they're kind of hidden all over the place in Valhalla. And like as you progress through Valhalla, just make sure to do a little spin. If I had the code on right now, I would do the spin. But anyway, if you do a little spin, you might see some behind you, you might see some in front of you, and like all around. And if you shoot them, I think you maybe unlock more loot. I'm not entirely sure. But in that final room with the loot, there are 4 of them on the top portion, like around where the timer is. And I only had 3 of them be green, and 1 of them was still yellow. So I definitely didn't find all of them en route. So I need to make sure I do that next time because I'm really curious as to what happens. So if you haven't noticed that yet, look for the diamond the yellow diamonds and make them green. Oh, you've seen red ones. Interesting. So maybe they come in different colors. I don't know what any of it means, but I'm really, really curious. If you guys figure it out, tweet it at me at TessGames. I want to know more. Also, the crew challenge. So the crew challenge was hard to do because some of them disappear very quickly, and there were a couple where you didn't have to do all of them. You just had to do the correct ones, and it was really hard to figure out which ones were the correct ones. It was a cool challenge. I really liked it. But at the end, you don't really know what the thought means. Like, you get a decoration for it if you go, if you complete all of them and then you go to the little, it's in the center of the Psychoscape in the hub on the left-hand side, kind of like where the vending machines are, but to the left of them. There's like a little statue when you go and you get like a room decoration, but it doesn't really tell you what the thoughts mean. Like, your question's not answered, and Tanis is like, I need to think about this for a little bit longer, and I'll get back to you. And I'm like, but it's a mystery, and I'm very curious, and I really want to know what happens. I want to know what it means, and I don't know how to find out. Do I need to do something else? Is it like something that will happen as part of for future DLC? Like, what does it mean? Because I'm dying, having worked so hard to complete every single crew challenge.
I noticed, I don't know if this was necessarily true, because I haven't done all of them as far as I know yet, but they all involve an animal. Did you catch that? That's my only...
Oh, yeah.
That's my only real thing that I notice about them. That's kind of like the theme between all of them. It's one is about a rack, one is about a skag, one is about something else I can't remember right now. Yeah, spider ant was one of them. So what animals? To me, when I think about that in my mind, I'm like, is he talking about the wildlife exploitation preserve? Was he there? I mean, he could have been there at some point. There was experimentation going on there.
Interesting thought.
That's where my mind went. I'm also just obsessed with the wildlife exploitation preserve because that is the stage in Borderlands 2 when I realized I loved Borderlands 2. That was the moment I went through. The music was great. The atmosphere was great. Jack was great. The enemies were great. Everything about that stage. That was where they introduced the super badass loader too. The one with 6 arms.
Yeah. Oh my God.
Everything about that stage was my favorite. So.
Interesting. So somebody in chat is asking if the exploitation preserve was also where the echo logs of Tina's parents were.
That's correct.
Oh my God. It's
not him. I want it to be him. It's not him.
How do we know? Do we know?
Supposedly, word of God stated that Tina's parents were killed. They are dead. So unless they're going to go back on that and retcon it, Tina's parents, as far as we know, are straight gone. We want it to be Krieg. I want it to be Krieg. You want it to be Krieg. Everybody out there watching it wants it to be Krieg because that gives it more emotional heart and weight and depth. And we just really want that connection between Krieg and another human being and a happy ending. This is Borderlands. We don't get fucking happy endings. We wind up getting people blown to bits or turned to ash. Then you need to clean them up with a dustpan.
Hey,
that's what they do.
She's still alive, damn it. She's alive right here sitting in front of you. And also in Krieg's mind. And in the book that Ava has and in the memories that are living memories.
Yes.
Okay? She's not gone.
All right.
Out with the stupid dustpan jokes. Damn it. Yeah, I don't know. It would be interesting if Krieg was her dad. Maybe she's like Krieg's little sister or something. Maybe that's why she's a little crazy.
Maybe that's also possible. I don't know. When it comes to crazy, the way I always perceived it in Borderlands lore was the original theory behind Borderlands was mega corporations took over entire star systems and waged wars with each other and controlled all of these planets. So they were kind of also like the de facto governments. And they came to Pandora in search of riches because of the vaults, because some guy found them all and dropped these people there to exploit the planet and get all the resources out and find the vaults. And Pandora has a special connection. We still don't quite understand to the vaults and everything like that. We kind of get it. We still don't kind of get it. We kind of get it. So everybody was left here when the corporations were like, well, we give up. And they all just left. And so everybody who was left behind became a bandit or a psycho or some combination of them. And that was my interpretation of it. So now we're kind of like going further. And now, there's this universal psychic link that all psychos have, where there's this magical place that exists in their minds where you can go find loot. It's an interesting theory, but I don't know like 100% where it goes in the already established loot, or I'm sorry, the already established lore of Borderlands, So it's not a bad thing. It's just, I'm trying to like reconcile where all of this is, because is it the proximity to the vaults? Is it because Pandora is so oversaturated? How many vaults are there on Pandora? There's the one where the Destroyer of Worlds came out kind of the first time. Then there's the big one where he came out the second time. There's the one for the Warrior. So that's 3. I feel like I'm missing one. I don't know what it is. The one where we fought Troy was technically a vault too. That wasn't where the Destroyer of Worlds in final form came out either.
That was a vault.
That was a vault. So that's 4, right?
Yeah.
So Torg's doesn't really count. That wasn't like really one. It was and it wasn't. Traveler. I don't remember. What Traveler? Is that from Tales? I didn't finish Tales. I should have finished Tales.
You haven't finished Tales?
I didn't finish Tales. I'm sorry.
Right, this is worse than murdering me in Among Us. You have to finish Tales. Oh my god. I forgot that it was called The Vault of the Traveler, actually, which is terrible because I played Tales twice. But no, Mitsu, you have homework. You have to play Tales. You have to play Tales. It's so good. It's so good.
Let me get through everything I have to get through involving farming up my characters and just finishing everything in Borderlands 3. And then what I will do is I will go back and on the official channel, I will start a new, fresh, full playthrough, because I think I only beat the first chapter, front to back of Tales from the Borderlands.
Yes.
Is that acceptable to you?
Yes, I will.
Okay,
I will be there to see this because it's so good. Tales is one of my favorite Borderlands games, even though it's not a Borderlands game. Tweety also will be happy that you're finally playing it because I think she started with Tales and then moved to the shooty games.
That's good. I want to stay on Tweety's good side because she has a tendency to assassinate people who are on her bad side.
Yes.
Failed reference to another game.
Oh god. But yeah, Tales. I hope that we also, so this is a dream for someday that I hope will be made real by the Kind Universe.
Mm-hmm.
Kind Universe, hi in chat. I really want to see Fiona come back and Sasha come back because we have Vaughn and Reese, right? I want the girls to get a little love. Although I'm kind of really hoping that they're holding back Fiona because she's going to come back as a siren somehow, or like show up as a siren someday because she would make a boss siren. It would be so cool.
She would. So I've heard anyway. So there's a lot going on. Psycho Krieg was a really good DLC. I'm sure we'll have a lot more to unpack with it as the weeks and the months advance. I'm looking forward to having members of the team on, be able to talk with them about their experiences with it very soon. I have to figure out who and when and where and why. But I definitely want to cycle some people in the next couple weeks. So for those of you who are on the team, expect a DM from me soon-ish. This is going to happen because we want to have you back on the program.
Yeah.
But Psycho Krieg and the Fantastic Fustercluck was not the only thing that happened this past week, was it, Tess?
Well, yes, there was a certain panel at PAX Online. It was so good. I mean, those of you guys that watched the special episode on Saturday saw me literally jumping up and down on my little balance board because I'm so excited for all the things that are coming. We've got, of course, Bunkers and Badasses, which we mentioned a little bit about. Also, the voice acting segment, that was so cool of them to do. Oh my God. If you missed it, it's on the VOD here on the Borderlands channel and also on the Gearbox official channel. You can just go through the VODs. I believe it's also on their YouTube, but definitely you can just, here on Twitch, you can check it out at twitch.tv/Borderlands and or twitch.tv/Gearbox official. Super worth rewatching that if you missed it, because the voice actors for Tannis, Marcus, Krieg, Ellie, Hammerlock, and Maurice all show up. And it's amazing. They did such a good job. They always do. And it was hilarious. There's also really fun bloopers at the end. So like watch all the way through. Just trust me. It's worth it. Really, really cool.
There was a lot that went on. So yes, the voice actors all did get together and they had a nice segment for Ask a Psycho, although that segment does sound very familiar, all things considered. I wonder if there's a certain show that should be coming back in sometime in October, maybe, where a certain psycho might be featured, where a question may be asked of him. I'm just saying. Bunkers and Badasses, we talked about that a little bit more at the top of the show, but I'm very excited that is finally happening. It is. I love tabletop games. It's nice to be able to play games in person with people, although right now that is a little bit difficult to do. My hair is a mess and I'm looking at it right now. But at the same time, I've always wanted Bunkers and Badasses to be a real tangible game with all the tabletop treatment that it can possibly get. You even saw, I think, what is it? Randy had printouts of guns.
Yeah.
I want to see what those are like. I want to see if they're customizable, if the DM can actually create their own guns in their head. I want to see how far you can really take this game and within the confines of it before we start getting the homebrew. Homebrew just allows anything to happen, basically. You can really make this game your own in the rule set that they've kind of put there. So that's exciting to see. And we should talk about that for 5 seconds. It is available right now. More information and pre-orders can be found if you are interested in Bunkers and Badasses, a tabletop RPG produced by Nerdvana Games at nerdvanagames.myshopify.com. That's NERDVANA games.myshopify, SHOPIFY.com.
There are extra blank gun cards, someone said in chat, which I believe Randy mentioned when he was talking about it. So yeah, that's happening. So excited for this. Oh my God. I actually really, really want to replay that DLC because I've only played it once. I really liked it, but I only played it the one time. So at some point I'm going to do, so actually I don't know if this is, too many thoughts in my brain. I want to do a replay of Borderlands 2, the VR version at some point, because I have the setup now. I just need to actually put it all together and get it filmable for stream. And then I'm going to replay Borderlands 2 on VR, in VR, on this channel, on my channel, on some channel. But either way, that's going to happen. And also, I don't know if that DLC is available in VR. If it is, then I'm definitely playing that. If it's not, then I just want to play it at some point in the near future. Like before we launch on the channel actual Bunkers and Badasses, I want to replay through the DLC because I think it'd be fun.
Yes.
But yeah, I'm just so excited to play it. I'm so excited that it's a real thing. I love tabletop RPGs. The only one that I've done long term was a very different one. I did it about 3 years ago, and it was like a cyberpunky one, kind of based in a system called Cyberpunk 2020, which it is 2020, so it's really weird to think about, but really cool system, really cool experience. I just think it's really nice whether you do it in person or you do it over something like Zoom or Skype or whatever. It's 100% just about being with your friends and having a cool adventure and using your imagination and role playing and all that stuff. And I'm so glad that Borderlands and 2K and Gearbox have come together and Nerdvana have come together to kind of give us the opportunity to inhabit characters in the Borderlands universe this way. Obviously I cosplay Maya because I love her and I put myself in her shoes in a lot of ways, in a lot of situations in Borderlands, but now everybody can do that. Whether you want to cosplay or not is totally up to you, but you can literally imagine yourself to be a character in this universe that we all already hang out in so much and do it with your friends. It's just really cool.
Yeah. So that's something to be looking forward to. Zero Sword will be featured as a pre-order bonus for Gearbox's upcoming publishing project, Godfall.
I'm so psyched for that. I really hope, and I think a lot of us hope that we'll be able to actually use it as a melee like weapon in Borderlands. I don't know how it's going to work. I don't know if it's going to be something we like throw at people or if we'll actually be able to like stab them or what's going to happen. But I mean, okay, let's be frank. I was going to play Godfall no matter what, like literally like tear it from my cold dead fingers if you want to stop me. Playing Godfall, we'll be doing that because it's so cool. It looks so good, and oh my god, the preview for it was amazing. It was amazing.
Yeah,
it looked
looked
so
great.
Colorful. Yeah. And the combat. So I've played a wonderful game that Gearbox developed a while back called Battleborn. And Battleborn had a lot of melee characters, and I am a very big fan of Souls-likes, like Bloodborne, Dark Souls, those kinds of games. And I really like the sort of super precisely tuned combat in those. And whenever I play a lot of other melee games, if the combat doesn't like measure up, if it's not like satisfying and well tuned, like things feel like they have oomph and the timing is right and everything, I'm disappointed. And I will tell you something, the Battleborn melee combat was chef's kiss. Like it was really, really well done. I love shooters because I love the feel of shooting in video games because it's done so well in Borderlands and other, FPS games. And I know that Gearbox can do an incredible job with melee. I'm so excited to get my hands on it. It's going to be good. So hopefully a bunch of you guys check it out as well, and we'll all be running around with Zero Sword in Borderlands, because how cool is that, right? I do like to stab
Small side,
things.
who did you main in Battleborn?
Oh god, I don't think I had a main. I played a bunch of different characters, to be honest. I never really, I really liked Battleborn. I think the thing that I struggled with was having to level through each game, because it was like I couldn't figure out a path for all the different characters because I was always trying different ones. So like I never had a set thing. I was always kind of like jumping into a match and just being like, okay, who do we need? I'll just figure it out as I go. So I never really had like a kind of consistent main, but I do remember playing a bunch of the melee characters and being like blown away because I hadn't had that much fun doing melee except in a Souls game. So
Kelvin. I played so much Kelvin. Kelvin was this giant like frost monster who had a huge mouth. And if anybody's played League of Legends, for example, it's like Cho'Gath, where if you got the finishing blow by literally chomping on an enemy, you got health, and that health stacked and did not go away on death. So by the end of the game, your base health could have been 2,500. I might end with like 4,000 health. I was just this beefy tank who was going around CCing everybody, doing a bunch of damage by punching them, and then chomp. It was so much fun. Battleborn was actually a great time. I really missed that game.
it was really good. I'm really hoping that Godfall, I mean, it looks like Godfall will take all the best kind of things of it and all the best things of Borderlands and make them kiss, and it'll be wonderful. Consensually.
So another thing that we got a chance to see was merchandising, where the real money from the game is made. Merchandising. We put the slogan on everything. Borderlands the backpack. Borderlands the hat.
Borderlands, the really awesome Molly one gun.
Yes. So the merchandise licensing wizard Erica at Gearbox is giving away a massive swag pack and 500 actual Molly 1 pistol replicas via Gearbox's Instagram page, featuring all of their cool goodies, which you can find at Gearbox Loot.
Yes, so you can get them at Gearbox Loot, and you can check them out and check out the giveaway. You're able to see it right now on the Bordercast. But also just go to on Instagram Gearbox Loot, or I believe gearboxloot.com, the website, right? This is the Molly one gun, which I really, really want to get really badly. And all this other stuff just looks so cool. The figures are amazing, by the way. If you guys haven't seen the figures, 1 second.
Oh God. Which one is she pulling out now? Oh, the big statues. Yes.
They're
Yes,
so
yes, yes.
cool. They're so cool. Okay, so I have, which it's funny. Gearbox sent me this before I knew that I was going to be a Moe's main in Borderlands 3 because I'd mostly been playing Maya up until this point. And then I made friends with Psychotic Wolf and Triple G, who are both hanging out. And yeah, now I'm a Moe's main. It's like so in so many circumstances, in terms of everything in this DLC and just so many things, Gearbox has read my mind, and it's almost as scary as how well Google reads my mind. It's kind of, you guys,
Not good.
yeah, I mean, it's okay. It's good because cool things happen. It's just very interesting. Do you guys have mind readers on staff or something? But yeah, so this is one of the amazing statues you can get on gearboxloot.com, and you should definitely check out all the things.
Yes. They're all absolutely incredible. And then, of course, there is gearboxloot.com, and there also is, I believe it is store.2k.com as well. We'll
Yes.
also have tons of Borderlands merchandise. I believe you
Yes.
can also find the statues there as well. Here's the big one. The color is purple. New action skill trees were confirmed. We were treated to a very short primer on Flack's new pet, which is a loader bot that can be upgraded via augments, much like his other pets, and a new action skill that provides crowd control. Crowd control.
Yeah, that is going to be amazing. I'm very, 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 very excited to see all of the others, but Flax made me want to play more Flack, which I love Flack to begin with, but I've kind of forgotten about him a little bit because I was so sidetracked by first Amara and now Moe's, and a little bit Zane, because Zane is also a lot of fun. But definitely, right now I'm super, super, super in love with Moe's. Moe's is my main. If I had to pick a main right now, I would absolutely pick her, because I plan to play her for the foreseeable future as my main. But I mean, Flack is a wonderful character. Flack is actually the first character that I played through the main game with, and I love the fact that he has pets. I love so much that his pets help in the battle and that they follow you around and they can revive you and all that stuff. The fact that he's getting a loader bot pet is just so perfect. Like, it couldn't be more perfect, and I'm just so excited to play with it.
Can you pet the loader bot? Yes.
I think so. Yes.
Yes. And the CC ability where you throw this down on the ground and then everybody goes up and everybody come down. I like that a lot too. It's nice to see that Flack is getting some crowd control. I was saying Zane would be nice to have a little bit more crowd control for whatever ability he's getting for his fourth ability. But it was pointed out to me at the same time that when you think about it, Clone is crowd control, because Clone can taunt everybody and make everybody just shoot the clone instead.
That's true.
So I guess in that kind of respect, that's fine. That's a totally valid argument to make. So I'll live with whatever. But if it's going to be something else, then I want to see something that just blows people up. I mean, absolutely, like, boom, dead immediately. Anything, something like that.
Yeah, that would be very, very cool. Definitely.
Yes.
Yeah. So one of the other really big announcements is that there will be a second season of content. What form that takes is anybody's guess right now. Randy dropped some hints, and both during the showcase and on Twitter later, that there is going to be a new game mode. Also, Graham did a portion of a little bit of a sort of showcase of the new tree for Flack, and also mentioned a new game mode, a new DLC, some things coming. So we don't really know what this new game mode means. We have no idea. They just kind of teased it. They didn't give us any meaty information. So I'm very anxiously awaiting more on that. But I'm excited. Everything that they've come out with so far, that's been a new event, like the Halloween event, which hopefully is coming back. I don't know, but hopefully. Everything like the Cartels event, like the amazing DLCs, which, I mean, one is just better than the next, and then the next one is even better, and it's just, they're all amazing. I love spending time in them. So another DLC with new skill trees and a new game mode, sign me up. Take my money, you know? This is one of those, like, give please faster now, please. impatient, very impatient. But yeah, I'm just excited to see what it is, and I want to learn more.
Yeah, but we won't find out about that, it seems, for a little while at least. And we've got plenty of time to enjoy this new DLC and hopefully ride everything out. And we'll get there as it comes. I will say, I am hoping that we get some news about perhaps a new takedown in the near future. I would love to have a new Invincible out there. I think people are really hungry for another raid boss to kind of take down as time goes on. So that would be nice. Vertical split screen. Console players rejoice. Your vertical split screen is finally here. I can't believe that it took this long for it to happen, but it finally did come to pass. And I am excited about it because they had been asking about this since almost launch. I want to say a week or two after launch is where people started saying, hey, we really don't like this horizontal split screen. It doesn't really give us the kind of field of vision or view that we enjoy in Borderlands. Could you perhaps do vertical for us instead? And Gearbox was like, we can at some point. And now that point is very quickly arriving. So that'll be available alongside, maybe not alongside, but it generally seems like it's going to be in that new console generation release as well, where they also are having 4-player co-op split screen. This one's really exciting.
Yeah.
I love this.
I think the most awesome part of that announcement, that it's coming to the next gen consoles and that 4-player will be available and all of that stuff. But honestly, like, that's all incredible and awesome, and I'm so hyped for it for console players. I think one of the most important parts of that announcement, though, is that if you already own Borderlands 3 on PlayStation 4 or Xbox One, you will not have to buy the game again on the new console. So, like, if you go out and you get yourself a PS5, you're not going to have to also buy Borderlands again. You will get it for free on the new console just fine, you know. So that is really important. I think the new consoles are a big expense for people that main consoles, and it's definitely going to be an important upgrade for a lot of people. Things will be a lot more stable. Things will run better. You'll have better frame rates, better resolution stuff available to you. All of these cool split screen options. That's all awesome, right? But if you have to spend more money on the game, that would be a little bit less awesome. You don't have to, which is so thoughtful of them. And I'm just really, really happy that they did that. And the big one, the biggest one, this is another question that has been asked so many times for the entire last year of the game. Crossplay is happening across all platforms. Okay, so you'll be able to play with your PlayStation friends if you play on PC. You'll be able to play with your Xbox friends if you play on PS5, Xbox and PC, Xbox and PlayStation, doesn't matter. All three, you'll all be able to play together, and it's going to be amazing. And I'm so excited. I have a ton of community members that play on console, and now I don't have to ever exclude them, and that just makes me really glad. And I'm sure it makes everybody really glad that wants to play with their friends. They no longer have to choose like what platform versus where their friends are, which is really nice.
Yup. I think crossplay was perhaps one of the biggest bombshells. They kind of did it casually too.
Snuck that in there.
They did. They really, it was just like, hey, we're doing crossplay now, and this time it's actually confirmed. It's not just Randy tweeting about it and saying that's something they're looking into. It's like they did look into it, and now they're ready for it. So It was a very eventful panel. I'm glad that we got to be here and actually watch that panel live and share our reactions with everybody. That was super fun.
Yeah.
We didn't even get a chance to do hot fixes applied this week, so we'll push that to next week with whatever changes are in the game on Thursday. Yeah. Because I imagine they're probably, I don't actually know. There might be a few, but after a patch, or not, well, this wasn't really a patch. I mean, it kind of was. But after a big DLC, usually they lay low a little bit, and then the second week there's like the laundry list of changes, and then there's like a few laundry list, and then things kind of die down. So that's the pattern. Whether or not that's actually what happens, I don't know, but that's the pattern. So anyway,
it's good. I am super excited for all the things coming. I just sort of can't wait for more. Right now, I'm just super happy with playing the DLC because it's so good. I feel like there's still so much to discover there. And it's just such a good place to kind of like spend your time, which is nice. It's very, very nice.
There's a lot to look forward to. The future of the series is great. We have some inklings about what is to come. I'm hoping that if we don't get any more information here, the scheduled Borderlands show sometime in October will give us a lot more information, because that tends to be afterwards where we start dropping bombs again. And maybe we'll get a nice developer interview. Maybe it'll be somebody on the team. Maybe it'll be Randy himself. Who knows? Considering that, I'll say this much, and this is my theory here. Randy really likes this new game mode. So if they have more to talk about in the near future about it, I hope that it's on that show. I would love to talk about whatever it is, because I want to know, because he didn't give any inkling to it other than saying it is a completely new thing. What does that mean? Please tell me. So I got questions. They need answers.
I'm just excited. Yeah, I definitely also still have a lot of questions, but so hype. I'm excited for the next Borderlands show episode. Hopefully it will reveal more information about all of these things that we want to know more about. So it'll be cool.
Yeah. And we'll look forward to that in time. So with that, Krieg is out. You can go into his mind. It's called Psycho Krieg and the Fantastic Fustercluck. Go and get it right now if you don't have it. It is wonderful. It is a great foray into the mind of a psycho. It provides a lot of storyline context. The guns are great. The enemies are great. Some of them will make you cry a little bit. Some of them will make you laugh quite a lot. I recommend that you get out there and play it right now. We are so hyped for what looks like, but we are not sure yet, but what looks like a potential second year of Borderlands. Tess, where do they find you?
Right here on the Borderlands channel every Tuesday, right after Bordercast. So stay tuned. We're actually not going to go offline. We're just going to go to a starting soon screen when we get done here. And then I'll be back like in 10 minutes with some gameplay of this awesome DLC. I'm also here every Wednesday at 4 p.m. Eastern, just like when the Bordercast starts on Tuesdays. And on my own channel at twitch.tv/Tessachka, that's Tessa, CHKA, all one word. Just like as you can see here, or on Twitter at TessGames. Actually just hit 10K followers on Twitter, which is kind of insane. Yeah.
That's so cool.
And I love Borderlands, obviously, and I stream a lot of Borderlands. I'm also getting more and more into some tabletop RPG stuff and Soul stuff. Mostly Borderlands though, especially right now. There's so much good stuff. So definitely, if you guys have cool kind of things to talk about related to Borderlands, if you want me to try a build that you've put together, feel free to tweet at me and we'll talk about it. I definitely would love to try new stuff, try new characters. That's always super fun. And yeah, definitely say hi there, or right here on the Borderlands channel every Tuesday and Wednesday. What about you, Mitsu?
Well, before I get to me, once again, I have to give some shout outs to a couple people that you should definitely be aware of, and we appreciate what they did for the community this past week. For example, our teammate Moxie was privileged to actually have a fun afternoon playing video games with Dr. Lupo, who some of you may know. So the two of them got to play together. Alexia Ray got to play with Triple G. Lazy Data got to play with Sacriel. Dick Filet got to play with Ohmwrecker. Milton T. Pike 1 got to play with our own 55 Liz. And Jobless Garrett got to play with Tweety Expert. And we thank all of them for coming and hanging out with the community, getting to share the love of Borderlands, and getting to meet some of our wonderful team. So I wanted to shout all of them out and say thank you. Please go follow their channels, as well as everybody on the Borderlands team. I'm sure Moobot can help with a couple command links for all the people I just mentioned there, and everybody else, including myself, being twitch.tv/Mitsu, MITSU, and twitter.com/MitsuShow, MITSUSHOW. There we go. Now I got them all done.
Yes, there's also a panel below the stream that has everyone's links, Mitsu's, mine, everybody, Psychotic Wolves, and Triple G's, and Moxie's, and Tweety's, and absolutely everybody. You should follow them all because they're all awesome. Really, really, really awesome.
Absolutely.
Thank you guys so much for joining us. If you're enjoying the show as much as we love doing it, please make sure to subscribe if you're watching on YouTube, and like if you enjoy the show. Get those notifications going on Spotify, SoundCloud, iTunes, TuneIn, Google Music, which is turning into YouTube Music soon, and Stitcher. And join us live on Twitch every Tuesday at 4 p.m. Eastern, 1 p.m. Pacific, right here for the Bordercast. And then afterwards for some gameplay with me. Stay tuned, and we'll be back in a little bit. Mitsu?
Yeah. So, as I like to say, on behalf of Tef, Tef. I screwed up last week, too. See, I got too excited. On behalf of Tess, myself, and the entire content creation team, thank you so much for joining us as you do every single week. Now go forth and make some mayhem.